Hey team, I'm Richard Snyder. I graduated from the United States Military Academy with a systems engineering degree. From there, I commissioned as a field artillery officer and spent 10 years in the Army before making the choice to transition to the corporate world and choosing Cameron Brooks to be our guide as we made that transition. And because of them, they gave us plenty of great opportunities, and we chose Corning Incorporated to be an operations section supervisor at a brand new manufacturing facility outside of Saginaw, Michigan.
Hi, I'm Shelby. We've been together for 11 years, 10 years, married in January. We met when he was a cadet, so his last year at West Point. And I own a pottery business.
As Shelby and I started really trying to piece together the transition, because ours was a little bit of a short notice, we went into a little bit of a panic mode. And it really became kind of like one of the flashcard questions of how do you solve a problem? And really, what we first did was got on Indeed, realized that that is an impossible China business, sorting through all the different jobs, all the different locations, what we'd actually be qualified for, let alone how to read through the job descriptions and pair up my military experience to those jobs. So luckily, we had a friend that had used Cameron Brooks as well, and that led us to just the Google machine. And we both decided, hey, it's worth at least sending off the initial email and doing an initial phone call. And that's where I got to have a first phone call with Amber Robles. Unfortunately, that time I didn't have Shelby. We weren't sure, how involved Shelby was going to be able to be during the process. And even from that first phone call, I knew from there on out, Shelby was going to be involved.
Ever since partnering with Cameron Brooks, I've felt that I've been as much a part of his journey as, I guess, discovering my own journey through this process and what that meant to me moving forward for then us as a couple using Cameron Brooks to find our next adventure.
Cameron Brooks really just made it seem it wasn't just me going through this. I was not only part of a team with Cameron Brooks, but I was able to really have my better half involved every step of the way, to the point where, Shelby, you read PCS to Corporate America.
Yeah.
She read the DPP with me. She participated in the phone calls. And we even got to the point where we were on separate computers at opposite ends of the house doing mock interviews. So that way I could get used to talking on a screen just like this. When it came time for the conference, we did it all together. We did all of the company research together.
Yeah, he's on his laptop. I was on my iPad. We had our, what I like to call the Gilmore Girls moment. You have your pro con list. You got your Harvard, your Yale, your Princeton, and then, oh, yes, I like this, but no, oh, this is a pro, but this is a con, so that worked in our favor. So.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, Shelby knew everything that I did, and ultimately we made the job acceptance together. If I could go back and give myself one piece of advice, and really it's two. The first being making sure that you dedicate the time to the process. Cameron Brooks has been doing this for a really long time. You might think you could recreate the wheel in a better fashion, but I promise you, more than likely, you can't. But it takes time. It takes dedication to go through all of the reading, to really do the proper personal reflection, to answer the questions. And don't forget to, don't lose yourself. You get to be yourself in these interviews. But you got to be able to figure it out in terms of how you're going to be yourself and connecting your military experience to that specific job. And the last piece of advice is really, it's unfollowable. Like you can't do this, but I'm going to encourage you to do it, is don't worry about location. Zillow is a very tempting piece of hardware there to go. And when you're looking at your career options across America, you're just going to get sucked in looking at every metropolitan area across the US. And it's just not, it's going to cause more stress than it does solve problems. And in that sense, I will definitely toe the party line and say, trust the process. Don't worry about location until the time's right.
And my piece of advice would be to the spouses, significant others, girlfriends, what have you, is you really are a part of this process. From that first email that the service member, we'll call them, or candidate gets, when it says, hey, please bring your spouse, or they can be on a call, Cameron Brooks truly means that. And I felt that sense of home with them since that first phone call with Pete. And ever since then, it was just, they refer to us, not just Richard. So I highly encourage spouses, be a part of it.